these 6 weeks of me being here, I've gotten a various amount of questions.
Megan, how did you get this job? What made you want to teach English? Oh my god, Megan, I want to do the same thing as you, but I don't know how.
Well friends, you've come to the right place. So today's video is going to be all about how to apply to the EPIK program in order to get your booty in South Korea. For those who are trying to apply to this program, I hope that this video will help you in some way, because I know that when I was applying to the program, I watched videos just like these ones, and to be honest, none of them helped, because the stuff that I'm going to mention in this video were not mentioned in any of the other videos. So I'm looking out for you. Like literally, I realized those videos didn't tell me jack shit. So this video is going to be part 1 of a 3-part series that I'm going to do on my channel. So keep an eye out for those, and let's get started because I'm hungry and I want a smoothie. So, how to apply to EPIK. So let's start from the beginning. So how did I get into teaching English, and why did I choose specifically the EPIK program here in South Korea? Well, basically I started thinking about teaching English abroad because that's just the thing. I wanted to be abroad. I wanted to travel. I had taken a couple of linguistics courses in college as well as TESOL courses, and because I took so many, I was able to graduate with a TESOL minor. And for those who don't know what TESOL is, it's basically teaching English to speakers of other languages. So by using that minor, I was able to find these different programs around the world, and I chose Korea because I've always wanted to live here. And to be completely honest, those linguistics classes were like my favorite classes in college, despite it not being my major. And I could have taught anywhere. I could have gone to Japan, I could have gone to Spain, France, but like I said, I chose Korea because it was like a little goal of mine to at least live here for an extended period of time. So if you're thinking about applying to EPIK, it is first important to think about whether or not this job is right for you. And now, yeah, that kind of seems like common sense, right? Knowing that you want to apply to this job kind of means that you'll want to do it, right? But it's important to remember that you need to know if this type of lifestyle is going to be right for you. To be honest, I think a lot of people skip this step because I know I did. So I know a lot of people here who kind of did this program on a whim, and that's cool if you can do that, fine and dandy. I did it and I realized I'm like a fish out of water here. So in order to make sure that doesn't happen to you, I would say 1, study the EPIK website to a T. Know every single ins and outs of the program. And it'll also help you later with the interview, but we'll get to that. Look at sample contracts, watch YouTube videos, do what you can to make sure that you know this program like the back of your hand. So my advice to you is to make sure that before you come here, before you apply to the EPIK program, make sure that this is what you want to do 100%. Because if you're not 100% in it, then literally what's the point of being here? Yes, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs while teaching here, but truly if this is what you want to do, then you're going to fit right in. There are also other requirements in order to teach in Korea with the EPIK program, but I'm not going to get into those because it would be kind of boring. But I will link the website of the EPIK program down below in the description box so you can go check those out for yourself. Okay, next step, getting the application together. Now, there's different ways you can do it. For me, I went directly through the EPIK program, which means I did it through their website. Just downloaded the application PDF style, filled it out, wham bam. But I have a couple of friends who went through this process with a recruiter. But the process is pretty straightforward, so you can decide whether or not you want to go through a recruiter if you want to do it yourself. The only downside of the application process is that it takes pretty long. It's a pretty long application, and the actual process of you submitting it and having the EPIK program get back to you is kind of a little bit long. It's pretty stressful. So my suggestion for you is to get your done early. And I mean early. Really take into account time in this process because it'll really cut down your stress. Okay, now let's get into the interview process, shall we? Okay, so the interview itself was really easy, but it was nerve-wracking. Obviously it's gonna be nerve-wracking because you want the job, you're in front of someone who is a little bit more superior than you in job status, so you're like intimidated. But like looking back on it now, to be honest, it was not even that bad. So I'm kind of mad at myself for being so stressed over it. So the coordinator that is interviewing you basically just wants to get to know you and to see if you are a good fit for the job. So don't worry too much about whether or not you know the ins and outs of how to teach English, blah blah blah, because that's not what they're looking for. They are basically looking for people who can easily adapt to new situations, and literally being put into a different country that is not your home country is one of the hardest things to do. So they basically want to check if this job is what you really want to do, because like I said before, if you really want to do this, you're gonna make it work. So they want to see that passion, and if you have that passion, like, there's nothing really to worry about. Now, again, I'm not an EPIK interviewer, so I don't know exactly what their brains function like, so I don't know exactly what they want specifically, but I think that this is what EPIK is basically looking for, someone who just has passion. So in the interview, they're gonna ask you a lot of personal questions, but they're also gonna ask you a lot of questions about the EPIK program itself. So like I said, back to my first point, study this EPIK website to a T, because they're gonna ask you questions. Even small questions like, what does EPIK stand for? Yeah, people get that wrong. So make sure you know what the acronym stands for, and you'll be set. So after the interview, it's a waiting game, right? You gotta wait until you get the job offer. So for me, I did my interview at the end of May, and I got my job offer within like the first 2 hours of having the interview, so I was proud of myself for that. But people may not be that lucky with waiting times. So even though I did get my job offer within the first 2 hours of actually having my interview, I still had to wait 3 more months until I could actually get here. So within those 3 months of waiting to arrive in Korea, I wasn't doing nothing. Those 3 months are pretty stressful because you are filling out a lot of extra paperwork that you are given after you accept the job offer. You have to buy your flight ticket, you have to close any accounts at home you don't need. Some people I know sold their cars because they're gonna be gone for a year, and who wants those extra car payments? Because I know I would not. And about a month out before arriving into Korea, you are going to get your province of where you will be placed. And yes, I emphasize province because you don't know your city until the last day of orientation. Yeah, last day of orientation. That means you have about 3 months of in your pants whether or not you're gonna be in a city or a rural area. So I have a couple of tips for you to make sure that this process goes smoothly. 1, like I said before, get started early as possible, guys. If you want less stress and you want the hopes of a prime location of your choosing, then I would suggest that you apply literally when the application opens, whenever it does. Obviously, it won't guarantee that you will get that prime location, but it does give you a higher chance, right? Mostly all the people that I talked to who were placed in Seoul or in Gyeonggi-do or in Busan, all of the bigger cities, they were the ones that filled in their application first, and they were the ones that were given the choice of whether or not they wanted a bigger city. And sometimes it doesn't always work like that. I know some girl who applied a little bit later and she still got Seoul just because a spot happened to open up. But I am saying that if you do apply a little bit earlier, I would say there's a better chance of you getting the place that you want. Tip 2, do not have too many expectations before coming here. Of course, we are all human, we all have expectations, and whether or not we like it, those expectations are not always going to be fulfilled. And that is definitely not your fault. It is not EPIK's fault. It is not the country's fault. It's just how reality is, right? I think that the most important part though is to come into this country with an open mind. Take those failed expectations and make something better out of it. Like coming to a city or even a rural town where I am placed and trying to live like the natives do, it's kind of daunting. It's truly one of the hardest things to do, to pick up your life and get plopped into a different country. So yes, you can have expectations, but remember to be flexible. Things will be awkward in the beginning, things will be a little bit uncomfortable, but it is your duty to make sure that you can be able to adjust to a new lifestyle. Okay, tip 3, remember to relax during the interview. Like I said, the guy or the gal just wants to get to know you, so don't be too high-strung because obviously that probably won't show off your personality. So basically the interviewer just wants to get to know you, like I said, and he or she wants to ask you why you chose South Korea instead of Spain or instead of France. They want to know why you chose this country specifically rather than any other country in the world. And to be honest, when I got asked that question, I answered that I was a big fan of Korean pop culture, and the first question that the EPIK coordinator asked me was, what's your favorite K-pop group? And y'all know who I said.
It's right.
Like, literally, it was that relaxed. Okay, last tip, tip 4, be patient. So, like I said, during this whole video, as you can tell, the process takes a long time. And the EPIK staff has a lot of emails to answer because imagine 1,000 applicants, everyone asking a question a day. Like, these EPIK coordinators probably have so many emails they have to read in like so little time. So like, I know for a fact I was one of those people that sent emails like every day because I was worried, right? Just be patient with them. They will get back to you. And again, everything will be settled in the end. So no worries, good vibes. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have for now. I don't really have any more to say. I think I exhausted all the topics. Yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna go get a smoothie now because I'm kind of hungry and I'm a little bit lonely in this hotel room, so I'm gonna go find something to do. Or maybe I'll watch a horror movie. Yeah, I'm gonna go watch a movie. Yeah, okay. So I will be continuing this series with 2 more videos. It's gonna be one on the EPIK program orientation and then also on the EPIK program placement, finding out where you will be placed in this lovely country. So keep an eye out for that and I'll see you in my next video.